1v1 Calderis Refinery blue side. Steve Budd plays a Warboss, walks through cover, he's freaking angry, look at his face. Fights melee, good disruption, damage and support. Up against BlackTemplarCrusader as a force commander, offensive melee, pretty versatile in the ways he can smack you in the face and he can support with some buffs. Double shooters from Steve Budd on the way. These are light ranged infantry, pretty nice DPS, quite cost effective unit. BlackTemplarCrusader goes for Loyalist Tactical Marines heavy ranged infantry, quite durable and versatile going into tier 2 onwards. Force commander comes right to the central VP. Steve Budd has a natural in the south and Black Templar has a natural in the north. Lots of ridges and stuff which sometimes favour the teleporting commanders, none of them in this match though. Will we see some Storm Boys from Steve Budd? I like Storm Boys versus Space Marines, they can be so deadly. Warboss comes to cap and here come double shooters shooting up this force commander. Is he going to try and engage? I think he is. Boatpool still getting shots off Steve Budd, doing the right thing, splitting up his shooters. One runs, the other shoots. Here comes sluggers too. And now battle cry goes off, meaning that the force commander will do special attacks for 10 seconds and sluggers move away. Excellent orc play here by Steve Budd early on. Now they engage and they take a big hit from the force commander. They're losing almost half the hit points, but they do force off the force commander who runs and gets away. Warboss trying to get into his retreat path here. No. Thought it was going to get hit off. 477, 491. Meanwhile, Black Templar splitting up and capping. These are some scouts. Light range infantry, pretty quick but fragile. Some nice utility with grenades and stealth as well. Here come Tactical Marines. Gonna clash with a Warboss, I think. Here comes the Warboss. We want to tie them up as quickly as possible, and he has done. Tactical Marines able to soak up this damage, but they do retreat. No backup anywhere near them. And we see double Tactical Marines for Black Templar. Very solid ranged base, but vulnerable to heavy sluggers or storm boys. We'll see what Steve Budd goes for. 477, 463, a 2-to-1 for the orc player. Looks like he's massing in the center with these double big shooters. Gives them even more DPS and allows them to suppress with aiming. What's that? Scouts don't want to get involved. They will melt under double big shooter boys. Warboss chasing Tactical Marines, and here's the other squad, and battle cry goes off, boosting the damage of these Tactical Marines. And look at the damage the Warboss took when he was running in there. Force commander goes trying to tie up these shooters, and they have a knob leader there. Warboss taking tons of damage. Might go down here. Force commander might be able to finish him off in retreat. Is he going to get in retreat path? There we go. And the Warboss goes down, retreating in it to take 30% more damage from melee. Steve Budd not happy. Was busy trying to micro these shooters away from the force commander, I think. But sluggers did cap for a triple. No allies, of course, so Steve Budd will have to repurchase that commander. Here's aiming. What's that? Allowing the sluggers to get into melee with his Tactical Marines. I think he needs to pull them out of there. And they lose a model. Losing Tactical Marine models is so painful. 75 wreck just to reinforce these guys. Force commander coming back out of base after healing up. And another knob leader for the other shooter boy squad. So they're going to be pretty nasty in tier 1 now. Quite durable as well. Scouts busy decapping deep in Steve Budd's territory, and Black Templar now has some assault marines, so these shooter boys are gonna get bullied, and all of that power spent on big shooters and knob leader might be futile if they're instantly tied up by assault marines. Jump infantry that disrupt when they land, bolt pistols and chainswords. Warboss trying to retake his natural. Scouts, those pesky scouts, finally forced off there. And here we see the assault marine jump. Those shooter boys were retreating, so they weren't knocked back. Aiming. What's that by these other shooter boys. Really nice orc play by Steve Budd. pulling them back into sluggers. We're going to see some burners in tier 1, no sign of them yet. Quick look at the resources. You see Steve Bud's wreck income higher. Black Templar way over the 30 pop, where upkeep starts to kick in. And with double tax and assault marines, is a lot of upkeep to pay. Now hitting power, no flamers though. So it's bolters and chainsaws all the way, and we do have a flamer on these tactical marines. Just speaks to their versatility. Pop a flamer on them and they are now beasting generators. Shooters, sluggers and the Warboss defend though. Huge engagement kicking off here. Black Templar going after these shooters. Special attack though misses moving units. Assault marines jumping shooters, but they were already in retreat. Warboss chasing these tactical marines, and he has the bang bang hammer, which is so scary for tactical marines. Is he going to die again though? Retreating through assault marines. Sluggers need to try and save him, and he just does enough to get away. And Ard boys on these sluggers. Assault marines jumping in with just 2 models. This is pretty dangerous, and they retreat through sluggers. Can they get another model down? No. And sluggers get flamed to hell and just about get away. Crazy engagement there early on. 4-1-4, 3-6-5, and it's a 2-1, sorry, for Black Templar Crusader. Tactical marines saunter away and go back to burning generators. Double sluggers, double shooters, sorry. See off the tactical marines, and he needs to start capping, because during that, those pesky scouts were capping up the map. More gen over here for Steve Bud. It is the Bang Bang Hammer. Got a huge buff a couple of patches ago. Now is really bad news for heavy armor. Also buffs, damage to surrounding allies on each hit, of course. Pretty crazy weapon. Needs to be though to be picked above the power floor. And tier 2 for Black Templar. Steve Bud already there. Did pretty well to stay competitive, I think, against double tactical marines and assault marines with just double shooters. And Warboss caps mid. Scouts chipping away at this node with their bolters, which don't do a lot of damage. And here comes sluggers, and these guys are fully upgraded now with burners and DoW bleeder, so they are going to be pretty nasty for tactical marines to deal with as well, especially with Warboss buffs going off. You saw Ard boys earlier. Black Templar hitting tier 2 now. I suppose he'll be going for a librarian to support those assault marines with Veil of Time. Might see a Razorback though. Force Commander levels to 2, going for his hammer. Warboss is still level 1. Assault marines jump in and catch those shooters with the destructive land, and flamer going in. Not often you think of the flamer as an offensive weapon against infantry. Usually it's just used to bash gens with, but as you can see, the damage it did there to those shooters when they're on the ground can be pretty effective versus especially ranged light units that just stand there. And he's going to burn gens again. 371, 346, and War Truck on the way for Steve Bud. See the way he's positioned these tactical marines here, and he's targeting this middle generator, so both of these generators are getting hit and both go down. Now goes for the node and might completely raise this entire farm if Steve Bud can't get out. Hasn't been able to put that hammer to use yet really. Needs another melee unit, I think, to really swarm. And the entire farm does go down. Did not decap, but that's fantastic work by those tactical marines. Force Commander with that Thunderhammer. Very scary AoE melee weapon. Power melee, in fact. Will be very good for dealing with any knob squads Steve Bud might get later on. And are we going to see a huge engagement in the middle? You see those assault marines with their sergeant now, gives them a power sword. You see him there without the helmet. Also gives them merciless strikes, so they'll be able to deal with sluggers a lot better. But here they are jumping in, going right after the Warboss. And Warboss does his stomp and then retreats. His stomp, that's his starting ability. Aiming what's that used on the assault marines again. Very nice defensive walk play by Steve Budd. Black Templar able to be very aggressive here. Usually you'd see Orks as the aggressive. I think going into tier 2 with just the 3 infantry units means Steve Budd's been on the back foot a lot of this game. Black Templar really pushing it. No tier 2 unit yet, has focused on upgrading those assault marines and getting that Thunderhammer. Might see a melter bomb as well to deal with that war truck. Force Commander also has Artificer, more health and health regen. And again, this power farm under attack, this time by shotgun scouts. They will have a very, very pissed off Warboss to deal with though. They get the shotgun blast, knocking him back and suppressing him, and then flee. Meanwhile, center assault marines made to run. Tactical marines now burning this secondary gen farm that Steve Budd had. There it all goes, and they get away without a loss. Again, the unit of the game so far. Sluggers with their Novita prowling. Such a dangerous unit with that speed buff they got a couple of patches ago. A few patches ago now. Scouts, looks like they lost a member. Great scout usage by Black Templar. Kept them mobile, kept them capping, kept them harassing. And here is Steve Budd hitting Black Templar's power for once. Assault Marines not jumping, biding his time for something, waiting for the Librarian. Yes, here he comes. There is quickening, boosting his speed. We're going to see a nasty smite on these shooters, I think. Steve Budd spots it. I think it's going for the war truck, but the war truck moved away a bit too quickly, and now they get in. Warboss is taking so much damage here, really needs an armor upgrade, I think. He has the trophy rack. Very nice accessory. All of the Warboss's accessories very, very nice. No accessory for the Force Commander, who's still level 2. Warboss still level 1. Really hasn't really been able to get into melee with that devastating hammer. Tactical Marines now both have sergeants, so they're going to be very, very durable. And Black Templar Crusader seeing off Steve Budd here. They did take out a model with that war truck gun, and it was an assault marine. And there's Merciless Strike, and there's Swampum from the sluggers. Need to get up, hard boys on them. Will we see use your choppers? They're taking a lot of damage. Very nice disruptive melee there from the Librarian. And a missile launcher on this Tactical Marine squad going after the war truck. Can they get a rear arm hit? Bang, there it is. Almost took it out. Weird Boy on the field now for Steve Budd. And there's Warp Vomit. Sub-Commander for Orks. Very nice disruption and damage. And a bit of support as well. Finally, Steve Budd has evened up the unit count. Not often you see a Space Marine player with more units than an Orc player for a lot of the game. And he's really pushed the advantage here, because now he's hitting power yet again with a missile and a flamer. There's Zap, and the Tactical Marines run away again without losing a model. Level 3 and level 2 these guys now. Ouch, very nasty smite by the Librarian, Sub-Commander for Space Marines. A lot of support abilities, but he does start with that very nice offensive smite, and he's in full retreat. Power Sword fights melee, does pretty well. Disruption as well. Warboss comes to cap mid, 246, 291. Also has to recap his natural in the south. Weird Boy doing it. You see his brain is exposed there. Such a great model the Weird Boy has. No sign of anyone going tier 3. Steve Budd somehow has a lot of power. I suppose because he had this for a lot of the game with a generator on it. Here comes Black Templar again. Assault Marines reinforced. Now a 2-to-1 for Steve Budd. Can he hold the middle though? He has spread out and started capping, which is what you should do, but also needs to hold mid. Tier 3 now for Steve Budd. Black Templar looks like he's going to be unopposed, recapping mid here. Here are some shooters, but I don't want to tangle with that. Warboss has moved off with the Weird Boy. Black Templar leaves some scouts behind to cap. And shooters will need to retreat through all of this. Black Templar has not noticed them, now does, and took out 2 models. Level 1 shooters. Level 1 shooters. You see the difference. Loads of level 1 squads for Steve Budd. Black Templar, the aggressor, rolling with level 3 and level 2 tactical marines, and now has a dreadnought on the way. Only 450, 120 these days. And a huge engagement here. Here's Warp Vomit. Bang Bang Hammer might see some action here. Assault Marines, in fact, need to flee. Don't lose a model, but they do run. Warboss is still chasing them, should not be chasing them. And now turns, but the rest of his stuff forced off. There was a smite a bit late. Warboss now heading into tactical marines. There's the stomp and flees. Still no armor upgrade, perhaps waiting for spiky armor, tier 3. Black Templar now going back to this power, and the dreadnought hits the field. Walker vehicle for Space Marine starts off as a full melee unit with these 2 close combat dreadnought weapons. Can get a ranged weapon, inspires nearby troops to do more damage when it kills in melee, loses that ability when it gets a ranged weapon. And it's a double for Black Templar, and it's 177, 268. Steve Budd really on the back foot. Can he hold on long enough to get a Nob squad, and will they work for him with this Thunderhammer Force Commander around?
That's a victory spot, that is.
He needs to deal with this dreadnought, of course, as well. Nothing he has now can do anything to it, pretty much. Black Templar recognizing that and going for the dreadnought. Without the claw, the Warboss won't really hurt the dreadnought too much with a power weapon. Now has heavy armor, so that Warboss is tough. 1700 hit points at level 1. Here comes the dreadnought. Has the wrist mounted flamers and immediately takes out a shooter boy, inspiring all of these troops now. Force Commander just gets away. Weird Boy raining shots in, does pretty nice anti-vehicle damage. As you can see, if he can hit that dreadnought, sit again. War truck goes down. This is very, very bad for Steve Budd. Sluggers go down. And the smite, and that is pretty much GG. Steve Budd has double shooters and a Weird Boy left. And might lose the war truck. Excellent shot there by the Weird Boy. And all that stuff gets retreated. Force staff now on that librarian. Warboss gets away. Needs anti-vehicle now. Dreadnought did take a decent amount of damage from that Weird Boy's shot. Scouts capping mid, 149, 239. Steve Budd not far away from getting a Nob squad. Weird Boy chases off the scouts. Dreadnought not wanting to engage without support. You really need to support your walkers, and scouts will begin to repair. Here comes the Warboss again. And here comes a Nob squad. Tier 3 now for Black Templar. Built up a very nice force.
That's right. Even better.
And here they all come. 2 level 3 tactical marine squads. This one is almost level 4. And Dreadnought is going to engage this Warboss. And the Warboss does not want to fight it with a Bang Bang Hammer. Does not even finish the cap. Zap goes onto those scouts. Will not jump though, and he gets a very nice shot as well, and then retreats. Shooter Boy is trying to decap stuff, but now they need to retreat through a Thunder Hammer and some Tactical Marines, and they make it out of there with 4 models across 30 health. Dreadnought, can it finish them off? Bang! Almost did. Wow. The Nob leader getting away with 5 hit points, and now the Nob squad with their chain axes, which are melee heavy despite the fist icon suggesting power melee, but they cannot stand against all of that in their default state. I don't think they even have Mina and Greenie yet. They just got their Nob leader, but they lost the model as well. Dreadnought took a lot of damage there though from the Nobs, and they're not being repaired because the scouts are capping. All these generators are gone. Nob squad being reinforced now, back up to full strength. Needs to regenerate some health though. Warboss is coming back out of base with Shooter Boy and Weird Boy support. The other Shooter Boys are decapping Black Templars natural, and they did do it. Can they get away? They can. Dreadnought gets in and gets an attack off. Ouch, took out 2 models. Walker's doing splash damage in melee, of course. There's Walk Vomit. Dreadnought down to half health, moves in on the Warboss. He's so tough though with that heavy armor. Or heavy armor, sorry. Has not leveled at all yet. This is crazy. In tier 3, a level 1 Warboss. 138 to 30. And somehow Steve Bud is able to constantly come back in and decap stuff. Black Templar should get some Devastators, I think, to sit in the middle. Dreadnought needs repairs. Here come the scout. Singular, there's only 1 scout left, and he will start the repairs.
He's losing some land.
Here comes Steve Bud. If he loses this engagement big, it might be all over. There is Force Barrier. Steve Bud just backs off. Weird Boy gets in a nice shot. Double shooters seem to be leading it here. Assault Marines jump in. Will the Nobs go after them? These are fully upgraded Nobs now with their U-Gemmers. Where are the Warboss buffs? I don't see any. Force Commander moving into the Nob squad, disrupting them with that hammer. Assault Marines just about get away. Dreadnought finishes it off. The Warboss does it? No. Can the Force Commander finish him off? No. Heavy armor getting him away, and use your choppers on these Nobs. Melee skill and damage increase, but they are trounced by that Dreadnought and that Force Commander. Ouch. Get away with a single model, and there is the GG from Steve Bud, and he concedes. Nothing he could do against all of that. Did amazingly well to survive this long, I think. Tier 1 was the deciding factor, I think. Very light tier 1 from Steve Bud against double Tactical Marines and Assault Marines. I think he needed a 4th unit, really did. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.